Tenebris, a world that had forgotten daylight long before the Great Siege began. Its skies, a permanent bruise of ash and industrial poison, clouds of black smoke spill endlessly from the manufactorums that churn endless chimera chassis and siege-forged munitions to feed the Imperium's endless hunger for arms and armor. When war came to Tenebris, it was not from an alien threat. It came from within. Of Tenebris' three great cities, two were consumed in the opening years of the conflict. Only Tenebris, the Crimson Hive, endured. It endured because it had no other choice. Colonel Stracus, commander of the 113th Mechanized Assault Regiment, inherited command of all surviving Loyalist forces after High Commander Cadus was vaporized in his command spire by a traitor-launched death strike. Stracus found himself master of ruins amongst the corpses of millions and dwindling hope. He set to work immediately. For years, the defenders held the outer wastes, then the walls, then the rings of the hive collapsed inward like layers of laminated steel peeling apart under catastrophic strain. The 113th fought beside the shattered remnants of the 7th, 108th, and 212th Artillery Regiments, their lines shrinking but never breaking. When the final lower terraces fell, Stracus ordered the retreat into the core, the industrial heart of Tenebris, where the forges still beat out Earthshaker barrels and chimera hulls even as the city burned around them. Production slowed, but it never ceased. The defenders would not allow it. Stracus understood a truth the traitors did not. Victory favors the patient. He ordered all counterattacks halted. The Loyalists would bleed the enemy slowly, rhythmically, like a ritual sacrifice. They would make the heretics believe the city was dying. Meanwhile, the real war moved underground. Basilisks were rolled into hidden bunkers and collapsed sky bridges. Chimeras were lined in their thousands in sealed tunnels, engines cold, crews waiting in the dark. Millions of shells and rations were smuggled into the Undercity, beyond the reach of traitor Auspex. The traitors, drunk on their apparent triumph, surged through the upper hive. They claimed victory, they planted their banners, they celebrated. The 113th led them. For 3 months, ash storms scoured the surface into a red-gray slurry, navigable only by those equipped with the 113th's Krieg pattern respirators and specialized sensors. Beneath that storm, Stracus prepared the killing blow. Tenebris possessed 3 planetary defense siege cannons, relics capable of crippling void ships. One had been destroyed early in the siege. In truth, Stracus had ordered a controlled demolition, lowering the colossal weapon to face the lower hive where the traitor armies now massed. Its shells, each a warhead measured in kilotons, requiring building-sized hydraulic cranes and hundreds of serfs hauling heavy chains to load. The cannon had waited in silence for months. When the ash clouds finally parted, the great horn atop the spire sounded for the first time since the city's founding. The cannon fired. The blast tore the lower hive open like a wound, vaporizing tens of thousands and shaking the city to its foundations. The traitor command structure was annihilated in an instant. At that signal, demolition charges blew open the sealed tunnels. 2 million Loyalists surged forth, a crimson tide of infantry and armor. Chimeras burst from walls and rubble, autocannons and multi-lasers scything through disoriented heretics. Earthshaker cannons, pre-sighted for months, unleashed perfect counter-battery fire from elevated positions across the spire. The traitors attempted to rally their air superiority. Marauder bombers and vulture gunships from the fallen aeronautica city of Tenebris screamed overhead. But the flak towers of Tenebris, half-ruined but still hungry, engaged them in the sky. The air wing was effective, but not enough. The fighting lasted months. Without leadership, the traitor host fractured into infighting. The aeronautica, offered amnesty by Stracus, defected back to the Emperor's light. The Loyalists pressed the advantage with the cold inevitability of a closing tomb. By year's end, 5 million traitors lay dead, joining the 27 million already slain. 15 million loyalists had perished in the defense. Tenebris had become a graveyard. When the loyalists finally reactivated the planetary Vox Tower, they discovered Imperium had answered their call from years past when the war began. The Blood Ravens arrived at the year's end, purging the last heretics and claiming relics from Tenebris' sanctified ruins before departing as swiftly as they came. Reconstruction took decades. The outer cities were never rebuilt. Much of the planet became an irradiated wasteland, its manufactorums silent, its aeronautica facilities mostly abandoned. In the aftermath, the Administratum declared all Tenebris regiments, save one, destroyed in action. Only the 113th was re-sanctioned and dispatched back into the wider Imperium just in time for the Indomitus Crusade. Hardened by years of fighting in toxic storms and collapsing ferrocrete canyons, the regiment now specializes in subterranean warfare, attrition sieges, wielding a wide arsenal of artillery to render the surface of any world uninhabitable.